That's me now. Thank you. I don't see art.
So $129. Oh man, 5 watts, single sideband. That's just incredible. Even if one band didn't work, that would be. What doesn't work is a question.
If that was $75, I might do it. I might do it.
You got $55 kit, remember?
Yeah, but the $55 kit plus the $25 for the case would
Takes
bring
it
it
to 80. Yeah.
bring it up to
Plus shipping.
It makes it over to Amazon. That'd be the test.
don't need
I cut
we don't need no stinking case.
cut the cases off all my stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not all.
It's a radio. I mean, it probably should have a case. Now, I'm not saying the $25 is a fair price for this case. I'm just saying it probably should have a case.
So here's the device with the mostly case.
Okay.
I did keep the big rail out. So you probably heard me mention this board. This is the single board computer. It's a custom thing. The reason I bought it is to look at this new toy. This is a IR camera.
Oh, cool.
Thermal imaging.
Yeah,
What that set you?
$600. You can get it for half that if you're willing to make it be dependent on your phone.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of old devices that I no longer have phones that work with. Yeah, so those pictures are this when it's on. You see where the heat dissipation is.
Cool. Is it good for checking out your house?
I did do that, and the ground fault interrupt circuits are way hotter than anything else. I figure that's probably a characteristic of how they operate.
Okay. That would almost make sense.
Not to me.
I'll bring a picture next time if you want to see it.
Well, there's like little relays and stuff in there or something.
So this is generation 1, right? We didn't know what we were doing. This is generation 2. Now this actually is just the form factor. There's no circuitry in here at all. Well, there's a little bit, but yeah, it's the SOM you heard me talk about. It sits in this slot. The second level here is a UPS. So, you know, this guy will be here. This is the UPS. You basically take an old, looks like a memory DIMM, put it in here, and it's got your processor, RAM, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, certified. And then this is custom IO. So USB expansion, Ethernet, power for radios. How we transmit audio to police radios. Tamper, serial integration, sensor receiver, inovonic stuff plugs in there. This one's power. That one's the battery. That one's power. No, that's not right. Something like that.
Well, this is a security system, part of a security system type thing.
Yeah, it's a panic system. It's when you have on-site security. You know, it'll call the bailiff to the courtroom. Hospitals use it.
I look hot. Yeah, all the women tell me I look hot. Yeah.
You went for a bigger battery, apparently.
Bigger battery?
This one's got a coin cell.
Yeah, this has got, well, there is still a coin cell on this for the clock,
Okay.
independent of a big lead acid that runs the phone.
This is actually interesting. Where I was leaning against the chair is hot, according to this one.
So if you hit the three little dots on the bottom right and go in and adjust the temperature, you can change the range. When you have, like, it makes a big difference. When you have a large range of temperatures, it tries to show you all of them. But if you're only interested in what's hot, you can adjust the range and get a better variation.
Oh, wow.
Wow, man.
Oh, yeah, it's like,
$600, huh?
So $250 if you want the cell phone, Android or iOS.
FLIR, we had an early version of this on the boat back in the 90s. It wasn't color, it was black and white,
Okay,
but it
shades
did,
of gray.
yeah, it did the same thing.
Well, the color is, it's really not color, it's temperature. Color is thing.
That one's got a regular camera and IR that overlays them, which is kind of,
Neat.
yeah.
Yeah.
It helps you find the reference designators on your boards.
But that thing was like, I don't know, $50,000 or something. 20 years ago, I was, well, not in it hasn't been 20, 7 or 8 years ago, we went to some conference thing, and FLIR happened to be there. And the guy was showing me, it wasn't quite like this, it was like a handheld pedestal kind of camera deal. And he said, well, how much do you think that is? And I said, well, just knowing what it costs for the other one, I said it has to be up there in the $10,000 range. He goes, you'd be quite surprised. This is about $1,000. And I was like, holy cow.
Well, they still sell some in the 10,000.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they do. It's just technology from where it was to where it is, and the price range from where it was to where it is. I can only imagine that the more expensive ones would actually do more.
Oh, they sure. Well, they want you to tie it to their cloud account too. So,
That is.
Okay, it's weird to me that I get a reflection of myself on my screen. So is
I
the
adjusted
color
it.
ranges here are purple and yellow. Is yellow hotter or colder?
yellow is hotter.
I adjusted the thing, so.
Although there's different color schemes. You could pick different ones.
It says the logo for my,
It's hot.
Well, I brought the power supply for this so we could plug it in. If you want to look at something that's still been hot.
I'm pretty. That's $600, huh?
It's your turn.
Uh-oh.
I can't afford to break it.
There is let's see if I can find it. I think M5 Stack has
Oh, damn, it's right. Yeah, the logo is, must be where the driver chip is.
Yeah, and then when you go back and look, it gives you a side by side.
Of the two cameras.
Yeah.
These. So the only thing I would use that for at work, if anybody is not happy with the temperature, I get called. The problem is the two women sitting side by side, one is cold and the other is burning up. What do you want me to do?
Well, so,
Plug-in heater, there you go.
Oh, no, they've got those already.
so I actually got this, there's 2 temperature sensors that we've hooked up so we can monitor the health of the system. And I don't know where to put them. So that's what this is gonna tell me. It's where we should lay the tablets. Hopefully in November, we'll get these for real.
But more importantly, we're not.
That's what it's for.
Um,
And I was told you can track down shorts with it.
yeah,
If you're careful with the amount of power you put in, it don't burn anything up.
I used to have a thing to find shorts and car wire. you'd clip into the harness and it sent a RF signal on it, and you could hear the thing 5 feet away, no problem, with a little receiver. And go along, boom, got quiet, it's right there, and it was good. I mean, you could get within 2 inches of where a wire shorted, or 2 wires shorted in a harness, that sort of thing. It's handy.
Here you go. If you don't want to spend $600.
430 is about the same
And it's a smaller camera, a smaller
screen.
screen.
This is a C5.
This is,
If you're curious on the specs.
this, I don't,
So
Lipton 3.0, I don't know what that,
is the infrared Raspberry Pi camera sensitive enough to do that sort of thing? Because I got one too of those.
see, they're using a FLIR Lipton 3.0 sensor. I don't know what that,
Leptons are one of the quirks. If I remember, it's a down quirk.
down port,
And
but it's only got one sensor.
160 by 120. Ooh, that's surprisingly low resolution.
Oh, yeah, what do you need?
19.2 by 1080.
Yeah.
You don't pay for that.
Well, welcome to the $50,000 range. I saw this model.
The screen on that is higher resolution than the camera.
Yeah.
And it's still tiny.
I saw this.
There's the mobile one is cheaper, Matt. It's $250.
Oh, for the sync with your phone.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
uses the display on your phone. I don't remember what it's called. They know a bunch.
I'm sure we'll find it. This is 7, 8 years ago. This was something like what they were showing off, and it was really reasonable. It's like, I have no use for it, but it's really reasonably priced.
Unless you're flying the helicopter chasing the bad guys on the ground, you
There
know.
it is. Oh, right. That's what I had, but the mobile one's down one way.
Oh, the Pro or the Pro LT, huh? Pro. iOS or Android? We need to
That's
know which model.
interesting that
USB-C.
it's not either.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. You'd think it would just be the app, but
It looks like they're using
And I'm
Android
wondering-
as a tethered off of USB.
Yeah,
I've got a Wi-Fi sniffer that'll work with iPhone 3. It was a cool tool. Didn't really find much use for it. The only thing I did was see what my neighbors, which the frequency bands my neighbors was.
there's an app that I used for that. It was called. Still got it.
Oh, it's on sale. It's on sale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, $400.
Probably what I went for. Because it wasn't a big enough difference to have to, yeah,
There it is, $200, Gen 3.
Wow.
That's not the Pro model though. That's the crappy Pro, the non-Pro model.
Every HVAC has to have one of those now. Man.
It'll come to me in about 4
Okay,
hours.
maybe next week.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. one of the things I liked about it,
Is this a Linux application?
no, it was an Android app. And so it was designed for doing war driving.
That's
You just drive down the road and it would tell you what it saw. And it got your location information, and most of that stuff got uploaded to some website that if you paid for it, you got rights to the website. And on that, you could look for specific names and find where they were. It was kind of odd. Made me change the name of my
like war
access
driving,
point. Yeah,
like war driving.
yeah.
This is why you need to specify it attaches to your phone.
Oh, okay.
If you look down here at the specs, video comes in off of the lightning port or the
Mhm.
USB-C port. So that's why you need to specify which port you get. Why they don't just say, which port do you have instead of iOS or Android, but
Well, no, because it's USB-C, it's only for USB-C,
right,
or unless you get a little adapter to go to micro USB.
yeah.
And all Apple stuff is Lightning. It has been now for quite a while.
Yeah. But, well, I get the USB-C thing, but
Yeah.
they could have just said lightning port or USB-C.
What is lightning?
It's that weird little,
Circuit board type connector?
It's a flat
it's,
blade.
it's that weird,
Yeah,
and
the one they've had
It's
forever,
that one. This one right there at the bottom.
the center one? Just look like USB-C.
No, it's not.
It's a little smaller.
looks like that thing.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, there's a comparison.
Yeah, there's a USB-C and
USB-C has the pins on the outside. Lightning has them on the outside. Sorry, the other way around.
Other way around.
Here, this is a C and a Lightning. That's Lightning, that's C.
Oh, right there's a really good picture of it too. Or a really decent picture of it.
So what are these for?
For this cable. My girlfriend likes Apple stuff. I don't.
So they're
Money.
electrically
Oh, you got a money
compatible,
girlfriend,
They're just
huh?
the form factor's different?
Well, I think technically the Lightning chip is supposed to have, the Lightning connector is supposed to have a chip in it. And I know it doesn't on this. And I've recommended this cable to lots of people. And then I looked it up about a week ago. And it no longer comes with mini, micro, and Apple. It's
Just USB-C.
USB-C and micro USB. So apparently Apple got upset with NetDot and said, stop that shit.
We had did that connector.
Yeah, but it works nicely. My phone is USB-C, and when I want to charge it up, there it's plugged in. I love that. If the thing falls off the table
It's
or
present.
something, it just better than breaking.
The Mac power supplies just do it.
I think the reason they stopped doing it was because the way that it was made, the contacts were available and they didn't do short sensing. So they'd fall behind your desk and find all those staples that you've been dropping.
Oh,
And then the power supply breaks itself. But for this, I mean, it would be really hard to short this out. The magnet is on the outside of the little connector. But yeah, these are
We got a new toy for you to play with, Vicente.
What is it?
It's only $200.
one of the other advantages.
plugs into your phone.
That plugs in
Perfect
and
for you.
stays there.
Yeah, I need a new phone.
I'm not wearing out those little tiny contacts. Pins on USB-C. Insane, they're too tiny. And they say, oh, that'll.
How much?
It's $200,
Let's see.
230, according to this. According to another page, it was 199, so.
Now Frank had an expense account. We need Frank back. We need Frank to come visit us and use his expense account. Yeah. He's got an expense account. You should have an expense account in your business. Indeed,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it all comes out of my pocket.
That's okay.
Every time I spend money, I don't get a little extra.
I get a tax break on it. That's about it.
Oh, okay.
He's a
I
resident.
don't know what you're trying to.
Try and show us a picture of us.
Oh, yeah. Are you headed to space, Vicente?
Excuse me?
Are you headed to space? Are you getting ready to hop in Starship X or whatever that is?
They blew up one of the rockets the other day, didn't they?
I don't know.
Yeah, one of them didn't
Oopsies.
take out. So it's taking off. It blew up with Boeing. Boeing, it blew up a
I
rocket.
haven't.
Yeah.
I have avoided the news for the past month, and I'm so happy.
About
There's nothing good there.
2 weeks ago, it's like one of our original missile launching when Werner von Braun was teaching us how to build rockets. We blew up a bunch of them.
Yeah. Oh, now you're in vacation world. Yeah, I have avoided the news for at least a month. And I can say I've never been happy. If you listen to the news, you'll just become.
Well, you go to
miserable.
Google and watch the news for you. It'll only show Arduinos and Linux and what battery of the week for the solar system. And now it's
weird
battery of the
stuff
day.
about
It's got
old
its battery.
technology.
Yeah.
Carrying that battery and cable and ends means I don't have to carry that thing. So that's good.
So what's in your box there, Mr. Steve?
No, I haven't actually even opened it yet. My boss ordered a bunch of these for sending home with employees.
Oh, for sending home with employees.
Well, I put them together and we give them a couple of screens and send them on their way.
I'm an employee for about 30 seconds.
I didn't even know for certain what was in here. Read me first, throw that away. Thank you for your purchase. We've got the micro USB to HDMI, micro HDMI to HDMI, a 64 gig chip.
Ooh.
I think. With, I am certain it pre-programmed with noobs, I think.
Probably.
I don't know.
What kind of connector does it have on it?
For what?
The memory?
Oh, it's a micro, it's a TF card or a micro SD.
Oh, okay.
TF is the proper name for it. Micro SD is what everybody calls it. And
So this thing runs off of micro SD. They get corrupted in the field.
I
It's
have
a problem.
had really good luck with the high endurance chips from SanDisk. I've got 20 of these things out at employees' houses. They use them every day. I've not had one come back yet.
Samsung.
I've got 600 devices out over about 7 years.
Okay. Well,
And
yeah.
about 10% of them have corruption in drive.
Is it something where you can ship out the chip and have them do an in-field replacement?
You could, but it's hard to get to the SD card.
Oh, nice. USB power switch. You could actually physically turn it on and off without pulling the.
Trying to use a name for your camera, I'm certain. This case is actually made by a company called Flirt, F-L-I-R-C. And Kit buys them, etches their name in them or something, I don't know.
Probably laser.
That's a little different design from the others.
It is, it isn't, it doesn't have the
Fins. all over.
fins. I really, really like the fins. And the one with the fins also has 4 posts in it. One for the processor, one for the memory,
Oh, yeah.
one for,
Does your memory really get hot?
So, are you running Linux at your office or are you putting Windows on these things?
I wouldn't put Windows on Pi.
Well, not many. Oh, it's a
So-
Pi.
Yes, it's a Raspberry Pi. This is the 4 gig, but most of ours are 2.
You just
And
don't hate yourself enough.
I don't hate myself enough to put Windows on them.
I'm surprised you have an office that doesn't insist on it. But that's good.
Yeah, well, these are going to people's houses and they're connecting to remote desktop.
Which is running Windows.
They will
They
be.
branded that, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
They
it?
etched their name in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's how they're doing it then.
This main system, yeah.
My
It's running Windows.
personal computer at work is Linux, but I still run a Windows VM because they insist that I use Outlook, which I actually use Thunderbird. I have Outlook on the VM, but I use Thunderbird in Linux. And I've got some, you can buy this for $5 thing that lets it use the Active Directory for the address book and stuff. It works pretty well. I've had
You done much with Active Directory?
more than I want. Yeah, I've been writing PowerShell stuff now for too long. It's nowhere near as user-friendly as Bash.
Yeah.
I
got SolidWorks and Altium, and that's Windows. That's, you don't have choice.
Yeah, well. You have a choice. But,
The choice is
but you,
don't use it.
yeah. I don't know,
And
there
then-
are choices, and honestly, SolidWorks makes no sense to me. I've used OpenSCAD now so long that I'm starting to see objects as
Primitive,
oh, there's a
geometric.
sphere here and a cube there and a cube rotated this way. Yeah, so that's kind of weird,
There was,
but I really like OpenSCAD.
there was a project that I bought the screen and everything, and they gave us a STL, or not an STL file, they gave us some weird 3D format so you could print a case for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so, I have no idea what it was, but SCAD was the only things that would open it up that was free. And it let me export it and just get out what I needed. What they had given us was like the entire design file. It showed everything, like the device was inside the case. So you just needed the case part without the other stuff, because if you tried to print it the way it was, the way they gave it to you, it would print. But SCAD was the only thing I could find that was free that would actually do it. I was like, and I don't really understand everything that SCAD would do, but Ray likes SCAD. So,
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Have you ever used OpenSCAD?
No.
It's different in the perspective that so pretty much everything else, you start with a sphere and you stretch little things out of it, whatever, and make dimples in it and whatnot. And OpenSCAD is different. It really is. I mean,
It's
if
different.
you understand anything else, any other kind of CAD, it's hard to switch. It's also hard to go the other way. Now that I get OpenSCAD, I've tried a couple other CAD things. I was like, this is silly. It doesn't work.
Because suddenly OpenSCAD actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though it's weird to start with, something in your brain clicks and you go, oh,
Yeah.
that actually makes sense the way they do this.
Yeah, I designed a Raspberry Pi case. I brought it in. I'll bring it in some other time. That had a 3.5-inch screen on a Raspberry Pi 3, and so you took the top off, dropped the screen in, and then there was a little piece that snapped in and had little ramps to hold everything in place. And then I guess you put the Pi on top of it, put the back on and drove screws through the holes in the Pi. And those went into the legs of the thing that was holding down the display. And the screws kept those from pulling in and letting the display come out. It really worked out really well. It took me like an hour to draw it up, and I printed it and went, oh, that didn't work, and made one change and printed it and it worked great. Now I look at it and I can't figure out how I did it. But I've still got the drawings for the program. But yeah, I started out with a Raspberry Pi board and measured it and created a model of the board in OpenSCAD, and then a model of the box around it, and took out the Pi.
That's what this company
Yeah.
did. But instead of expanding it and just giving you the part that you needed, they gave you the whole entire design file, and everybody was confused about what it was. What is this? Why does it print solid? It prints solid because it's printing every damn thing in that case.
Yeah. But it's a thing. And once, like I said, once you figure it out, if you have a product that you're building, it makes it real easy to use a very similar looking case for a different inside if you want. You just remodel the inside and subtract that. I don't know. To me, it is much simpler than SolidWorks. I don't know.
It's simple now that you know.
I need to try it. Interesting.
Do what?
I want to try the open.
OpenSCAD.
Yeah.
It's free. It's quick to install. It's relatively tiny. And if you need to modify it, it's written in Go, I believe.
And you can produce all kind of outputs for 3D printers and
Yeah, it can directly produce STL files.
STLs. Great.
I don't think it was all that.
There is a new release this year, 2021.
I've got it on here. This thing with its fork.
There is a new release in this year, January.
Is not the ideal thing. Maybe I don't.
Did you find it, Vicente?
Yep. I am in the page. In the home page.
No. Get it from the Snap store. Get it from the Flat Pub store.
Not sure why, but it wants to install CMake and fonts. And
Just go with it. It'll be all right.
oh, and last week I had broken my laptop. Was contemplating reinstalling everything. I bought a new chip and fixed it. So it's all happy again.
We said Ray's name too many times.
I'm on sideways, Ray. You gotta stop driving like that, Ray. You have a wreck.
A what?
So
Correct.
So
Yeah,
you're
guys-
driving the van, so you must be near us.
No, I'm not near you. I'm on Interstate 70. I don't know, maybe in Ohio.
Maybe.
It's a crapshoot with Ray.
Ray never knows where he's at.
I'm sorry.
So what do you think about OpenSCAD, Ray?
I did some look into a bunch of different CAD programs last year, and SCAD is that the one that was more like programming?
Yes.
And it's like you had to actually write code that would create graphics. I think that if you're already a programmer, it might be okay, but if you're a student,
We
That's why
lost
I
you.
don't have an iPhone.
We lost you.
oh, I'm sorry.
I thought that was the one that we were using at your shop that one day when we redesigned some of my files.
No, I used AutoCAD,
You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, poor Ray. He's frozen.
What I was
He's frozen in
using,
time.
and used high-end Fusion 360. Fusion 360.
Okay, maybe that's. I thought he was using it. Openness. Oh well, that's what I get for thinking.
I am using 360 also.
I know I used it. So
Yeah,
that counts.
I bought the 3-year license, got a pretty good deal.
Cool.
I have a maker license.
No, I bought the regular business license.
Okay.
I think because I bought the 3 years all in one subscription, I got a really good price. They're trying to push the subscription thing back then, and they got me.
I found an old, well, it's not old. I found a Tang Nano board that's an FPGA that I had bought probably 2 years ago. I know I bought it before the pandemic. And I never really did anything with it. So last couple of days ago, I started to mess with it. And I made an AND gate. I'm so happy. 2 buttons, you hit them, and an LED comes on. But if you hit one or the other, nothing happens. You have to hit both of them. So it's an AND gate.
And
That's my excitement for the past 2 days was playing with. Actually, the hardest part of all of that was the documentation for it is so far out of date now that what they're saying to do in the software is different.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there going, this is not the same, it's not the same, it's not the same. But it's a $6, here, I'll show you. It's a $6 FPGA board. Hobby grade style. So it's probably okay to learn anyway. Dang it. Do something.
So, yeah, I kind of forgotten that it's a program thing. You can't click on a object and move it. You have to go in and say, the XYZ coordinates for this thing are now here. And there is no way around that.
When I was doing Eagle,
Mhm.
did the right scripts, and anytime there were multiple copies of a similar circuit, I'd write the scripts, and that was really cool, because you can make minor tweaks and regenerate the board. Definitely a programmer. I'm not played with FPGA or CPLD.
Well, for $6, it's decent enough to learn on.
Sure.
But the software, everything that I have read, kind of almost like they just kind of, well, the software, the current software is really good, but like if you try to follow the instructions on the website, you get lost because it's different. So it's like the company that built the board just kind of went, we did that, we're done. We documented it once, we'll never update it ever again.
Secondary.
But the company that actually makes the software, apparently, they actually build big real FPGAs, so they have real software.
Leroy, put a link for that board, a link in the chat,
Yeah, I can do that.
please.
Just remember, if you're going by it, the instructions for it are pretty bad. But I was able to blink an LED, and I was able to flash an LED, and I was able to program both of those buttons. So, and I'm not real sure that, I think I actually understand what I was doing when I did it, because I was following some other people's examples, and they were explaining what every line of code does. And it's way more complicated than just programming in C or something. It's just, like, I think there were 20 or 25 lines of code just to blink the LED, where in Arduino you could just do it in like 3 lines of code.
Well,
Sound like assembly.
Well, you're sort of building your own hardware. That's kind of what the FPGA is. You're creating links and all kinds of other weird stuff. Virtual wires, and
it's supposed to be super fast.
unless you want it to be slow.
Yeah, by Sente, parts of you are disappearing periodically, so it's kind of scary for us. That shoulder goes away here now. Yeah, kind of like he's drifting away. You may want to get a tether or something.
Not on that particular board, but I have seen other FPGAs where they've recreated like CPUs from classic computers. So, you know, that's fun, I guess. That board looks like, it's got a LCD screen connector, and it's, a couple of the pins are marked HDMI. Looks like it's probably, at least the chip was probably had the thoughts of being some sort of display kind of deal. And you can just program your own kind of display. But blinking LEDs is fun. I want
There are a lot of LEDs in my office. When my
to.
brother's family comes to spend the night, they sleep in the office because it's the biggest room available, right? And they always complain. It's like Christmas in there.
Turn off the blinking. Turn off the blinking. I want to do I don't know. I have this grandiose idea of connecting it to motors and driving a robot around. And I really don't know why I want to, other than because. But I guess you got to learn from something because, you know, I don't know anything about FPGAs really. But I can make an AND gate.
That's a start.
I can make an OR gate. That's changing one symbol. I changed my AND gate to an OR gate.
So we've been building test equipment. We're gonna simulate a large customer install all on a rack. With the sensors replaced by simulators, and then the radios have devices that are decoding DTMF so they can hear that stuff went. Correlating, sticking everything you see happen into a database, correlating it to the expectation of what was supposed to happen. It's interesting stuff. I think it's gonna be 19 Ethernet connections. That was for the assemble rack.
It's not that bad.
No. It's a bunch of things that can go wrong. And it's almost everything except for like the network equipment, it's custom hardware.
I used to work for a place in Millville, Ray Yorty sheet metal shop. First time I ever saw a network rack was there. He was making one. It was not a fun project.
Bending the metal.
Bending the metal was easy. We hand drilled all of the holes and threaded them. It was a 15U case for somebody's toys, not mine.
This one's 42. It's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, it's a full height rack.
But when the wheels are on it, it won't fit through my doors. You take the wheels off, it'll fit through. You can roll it around in any room.
I have a wire rack. Yeah, I need to cut 6 inches off the top of it because when I put the wheel on it, it didn't fit anywhere.
That reminds me of back in the day when I was hitting auctions, and went to an auction in Middletown. And there was a bunch of network racks, bunch of them. And nobody was bidding on these things at all. So I said, well, what the heck? So I bought all of them for like a couple of bucks a piece. Turns out the other people were smarter than I was, because you had the doors were really narrow in this building. They must have brought them in and assembled them in,
Had to take it apart.
had to take it completely apart to get them out of there and then reassemble them. I was like, oh, now I understand why nobody was bidding on these stupid things. But I found a place down in Cincinnati that bought them for like $100 a piece.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So
That's a nice return on your effort.
it was worth it. I rented a U-Haul truck and drove them all down there and said, here you go. And they said, what is this? I said, here you go.
First rack I bought sight unseen and discovered that there are telco racks and network racks, and they're not the same. Telco racks are 24 inches, not 19. Other than that, they're the same.
Except none of your mounts.
Nothing works. So this is OpenSCAD.
Okay. Is this your Pi enclosure?
Yeah, I downloaded it off of the computer at work. So like the holes along the edges of that, those are a 4 next loop. And it steps down the edge and puts holes where they're needed.
So these are the different cube that's centered somewhere. What's the translate?
Move, go from this spot to a new spot, and now that spot is the center of building things.
Here's the enclosure itself.
Well, the enclosure is the box with a box taken out of the middle of it and cylinders around the perimeter that are differenced to make holes.
All right, so now you want to generate G code to follow a path in there.
Oh, easy.
Does it do stuff like that?
Yeah, I can generate SQL words from this. And because, was that because of me?
No, that was me.
Because of I mean, this is just a text file.
Yeah.
It's no binary stuff that you can't do anything with. It's pretty easy to make your own interpreter to spit out anything you want. It just works pretty well. But yeah, G code is easy.
Oh.
Export STL, OFF, whatever that is, ANF, 3NF, DXF, SVG, CSG, export as an image. Okay, I know that I've exported G code from this. I must need to install some module.
I thought the slicer, only the slicer would do the G code.
No, I
Yeah.
can directly drive something.
From OpenSCAD?
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I did, at one point, I wanted to make a computer case and found out that's more expensive than I expected. And,
Plastic?
oh no,
You want to make it metal.
brass. Therein is why it got expensive. Laser cutting vent holes on one side, they charge you for each time they turn the laser on. And if I had hand drilled all those holes, I would have saved quite a bit of money, but then it would have looked like I hand drilled holes in brass.
Right. So you actually had it made?
No.
No, you didn't.
No, not when I got the price
Now, when they said,
It
that'll
had
cost you
800 holes in it.
$3,014 million.
No, it was about 250. And that
That's
was,
still expensive kits.
yeah, and that's flat sheets of brass. Then I still had to bend it. Which wouldn't have been a problem, but yeah, I'm cheap. And I
Are you
got a
into
different
something
computer
anyway?
anyway.
I'm just listening to them talk right now.
Oh.
It's coming.
No, if you want to see OpenSCAD, if you press F5, it'll regenerate the quick preview. If you press F6, it regenerates the more solid preview. And the difference between the two on this machine is about 2 minutes. And that's a pretty simple thing. I've had things that, not on this laptop, but on a pretty similar machine, took over an hour to generate just the view. But once you've got that generated, moving it around and looking at it is pretty easy. And I'll bring in this case next week. It's kind of cool. I'm kind of proud of it. It worked out really well.
This is a camera that I backed before the pandemic. It was they're getting ready to ship on the 6th. It's going to start shipping. It is
Well, they've gotten $170,000.
$229 a pop.
Mine was 306.
This is to control a feeder for the birds.
And the video's not playing. It's there it goes. That's
Hold on, let's back up a bit. At John Wells, our scientists are busy solving.
Anyway, it's an AI camera that it's a Raspberry Pi 4, and I think I got I think I opted for the 4 gig model. With a big fat zoom lens on it in that nice watertight case.
What's he gonna use it for?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe you can train the ESP32 to do that.
Yeah,
The ESP cam.
yeah, but the lens is what got me was that zoom lens. I know you can do it with a lot cheaper hardware. You can do it with those M5 camera things. The outdoor enclosure and the lens were two things that I thought I needed, and I don't know why I thought I needed it, but I thought I did.
Got a friend at Kings Island. I could probably get you an old enclosure and some lenses.
An outdoor enclosure. When I backed that, of course, I was living at the other house, so I had a lot more ability to put stuff up outside. Now I'm living in an apartment, with not so much ability to put stuff up outside.
So I couldn't show my girlfriend that video. I hate squirrels. I wouldn't use a water gun on them. BB, yeah, something with a little more energy behind it.
Laser.
She loves squirrels. She just thinks they're the cutest thing.
No, they're not.
K-band transmitter. You have any K-band transmitters for $2?
K-band.
Yeah. I want to wake up some truckers.
Okay.
Yeah, just bzz. When you see him coming down the road doing about 60, bzz. It's 35 here, Jack. Wake up, everybody.
Oh, yeah, like the K-band radar.
Yeah, I got the, you can get them, looks like the, geez, the Bushnell sells, got some for used ones for 62 bucks. They look pretty good.
What about these? ones?
24 gigahertz.
K-band. K-band's not 24 gigahertz. K-band is what, 10?
I'm seeing 24 on the screen up there.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
All I need is the transmitter to work. I don't really need it to work, just to send out a signal,
You want to
wake them up.
their radar detectors.
Yeah, I'm gonna let them know, hey. Particularly the guys that are not supposed to be on our street, they all but coming through there. They don't want to get caught.
K-band is 18 to
18 to
27.
27.
So there's 24 gigahertz ones. These are. I've got a couple of these. I don't think I paid very much for them, $5 or $6.
All I have to do is put voltage on them. Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. If you don't want to read anything.
No.
Yep.
I just want
Oh, 500 pieces of. So you gotta buy 500 pieces to get
Oh,
it at
oh,
$2
okay.
a piece.
If they can make 6 million of them.
I blew up my 200-watt audio amplifier
To do that.
just listening to TV. It decided it didn't like me and started making smelling stuff, smelly stuff. It's a PDA 4U. I forget the brand.
This one, that'll set off your radar detectors too.
Oh, okay.
I think that's X-band.
I would need the instructions for connecting it up. Oh, okay. Also, lots of them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, all you have to do is search radar module Arduino on eBay. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, cool. It looks like they have a lot of amplifiers, audio amplifiers out there. Bluetooth now is popular. Bluetooth audio amplifier with PA system on it. But yeah,
I have an ancient old Fisher 500C. I love that amp. I've got enough spare parts to keep it going until long after I die.
yeah.
The HB 100, which that is X-band. That's X-band radar.
How to test it.
Yeah, stick it in front of the radar detector. And if it comes up and says X-band, you go, okay.
Okay, so dumb
The-
question.
The X-band, they don't use X-band much anymore, so you probably want to use something other than X-band to do it, because X-band is the doors that open. The automatic doors, that's all X-band stuff, and most of it's X-band stuff.
How often do the cops still use radar? I see them now with lasers.
Lasers, yeah.
Oh,
So,
And they make detectors for those too, but by the time it goes off, it's too late.
yeah,
That was
they
always my
pointed
problem.
at you, yeah.
I had to get rid of the radar detector. It cost me too much money.
well, if you're just trying to slow somebody down now, throw like a K or a KU band radar up there, it'll still set your detector off, and if they're paying any kind of attention, they'll slow down just because.
Yeah.
If they're not even paying attention.
And you've just about got to be line of sight. I've got trees and stuff that I need to point it up the road.
If
We've
you
got
put it,
trees.
if you could put it on your mailbox,
That's true.
Because
And just
now
have something that trigger it.
Put it in
That's all I
both
need.
put one in both
Right.
directions.
I trigger it, just turn it on.
I would, probably might be some issues with doing that, legal issues.
Well, yeah,
FCC
there's
on that.
legal issues with trying to convince the trucks to stop too.
No, they're not any issues. It's just I'm transmitting on a frequency that's available and there's no,
Is it licensed or
limitation.
unlicensed frequency?
it's
It's-
K-band. They sell the guns for baseball.
Yeah,
As long as it's low power,
So it's
it
unlicensed.
shouldn't matter, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's pretty low power. Can you leave the transmitter triggered? I could just trigger it, put it on Arduino or whatever low power device and trigger it. 555, low power 555, and trigger it
Yeah,
once
do
every
some
10
pulse.
seconds. Yeah.
You'd almost want to do, you want to do some sort of pulse anyway, because you want it to be sort of a random thing, because that way if they travel that area a lot and they just constantly see it,
Yeah,
they'll
they'll figure
realize,
out
oh,
it's
it's
right
nothing.
there.
But if they see it one day and they don't see it the next day and they don't see it, but then they see it like the third day, then they might start questioning.
Need to be
what's actually
randomized so
going
they can't
together.
figure out where it is. That's the main thing. Where is it?
So I don't think you want it to be continuous. I think you want it to be as random as you possibly can make it.
Maybe go out once a minute or once every couple of minutes. So you
Yeah.
don't
And
know
you're-
exactly where it
And
came
you're not
from.
going to catch everybody that way, but you're going to catch somebody.
Yeah,
And once they start talking, then they'll be like, yeah, I don't know where the cops are sitting up out there, but
there's one up there.
there's one up there somewhere.
Need to get it on a
Oh, it's
remote control car.
gotta go. Gotta put stuff away. Ray's frozen again.
no, just kind of.
Sort of. All right. I will probably see you guys next week.
Okay,
Bye.
Good night.
Glad you dropped by.
They're not doing